Good morning. My name is Ken Hart. I'm the CEO and founder of Snowdrop Solutions, and it's a great pleasure to be with you today at the FinTech Connect Asia event. I'll be joined in the next few minutes by Jolie from Google Maps and Bram from USA, one of our customers. And the three of us will walk you through some of the latest experiences that we're creating using some location intelligence technologies to create really a lot more transparency in retail banking experiences, and how this transparency builds trust and helps people, especially in places like Southeast Asia, sort of tap into a lot more smarter investment choices and, in general, better banking experiences. Before I begin, let me give you a little bit of background on who Snowdrop is. We've been working with Google Maps as a premier partner for nearly 9 years. We're based in London, been working with many people in the real estate, travel, and financial services sectors. We help our customers get the most out of Google Maps, Google Cloud, and other technologies, by really helping them optimize and create great experiences to help their consumers really engage and convert better. So over the next few minutes now, I'm going to focus a little bit more on what we're doing in financial services. As we've been working with banks such as Monzo and Starling, Moniz, Cash Plus, dozens and many others in the United Kingdom and Europe, we have found that there's really a room for improvement in the digital banking experiences. So roughly 1 in 20 transactions is not clear if you look at the average bank statement. The average consumer doesn't really understand all their transactions. If you think about it, for the last 30 years, banks have been taking messy information, putting it in paper. They might put the same messy transaction information and put it on a PDF on a website. Then eventually, they took the same messy information, shrunk it down to a small PDF and put it on a mobile phone. Wow, that's not great progress. So what we've been doing is really help people, consumers in particular, understand their transactions through greater transparency. And that creates a much more compelling experience, a more delightful experience. And when you have that consumer trust, there's a lot more things you can do. So it's about understanding data, knowing if something is fraudulent or not, understanding where people spend their money so you can help people save their money or wisely invest their money, as you'll hear later on in our presentation today. Again, this consumer trust is hard to build, and as you can see in the next slides, there's some immediate stepping stones that you can undertake using some of the technologies that's readily available today. As you can see by the slide, you have a lot of confusing information. How many of you ever looked at your bank statement and said, what is that transaction? I don't remember that. My own personal examples of, we went out for dinner not too long ago to a nice Italian restaurant. It's called Mamma Mia, but it showed up as Gromecca on our bank statement. No one understood. Well, Gromecca actually runs the franchise for the Mamma Mia restaurants in the city where I live. So this is a great example of the confusion, the lack of clarity, and a lot of, frankly, misunderstanding about people's transactions today. As you can see, what we're doing is we're using our technology combined with Google Maps and Google Cloud to make that confusing transactions clear. We take the clean name, the logo, and we enable people to readily understand where they're spending their money. That's just one initial quick step that you can take to build better, more transparent banking services and help really millions, if not potentially billions of people throughout Asia Pacific really take the most advantage of some of these new digital banking services. But creating better transactions is only the first step. There's some other business benefits. The consumers clearly get it, right? They like these services, they rave about these services and all the studies that we've seen in terms of net promoter scores. So it's a lot more consumer engagement, and you develop that trust and loyalty with your consumers in retail banking. If you're a newcomer coming to the market, this also represents an opportunity to create a differentiated service, stand out from the crowd, and really wow some of the new users with your new differentiated service that are unique and show that transparency. There's also some additional benefits if you're a big bank as well. You don't have as many calls to your call center, people calling up in a panic, complaining. We know in some markets in Southeast Asia, it costs up to 50 Singapore dollars just to handle a call. We know in the UK, it costs up to 10, 12 pounds every time, it costs that to the bank, every time An agitated consumer calls up to complain about a transaction they don't understand. The additional costs of what's called a chargeback or a dispute resolution can go into as high as 250 pounds per call. In the aggregate for a big bank, this costs literally hundreds of thousands of pounds every month. Not to mention people, the customer experience is not very good, right? You're calling up, spending 20 minutes waiting to get through to someone in the bank, only to be told they can't figure out your transaction either. So there's a lot of benefits to the bank by providing such clear, transparent services. We know this from our experience in Europe, and we've started to deploy some of these services in Southeast Asia. I'm fortunate to be joined now by Jolie from Google Maps, who walked through some of the research that Google have done specifically in this area and how location intelligence services really helps people more readily understand.
Thank you, Ken. Very excited to be here. I'm Jolie Ahuja. I look after channel sales for Google Maps for Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. I've been Google for the last 5 years, all along working with the Maps team. I have worked with numerous customers, right from e-commerce, retail, to financial services users. So today, let's talk more about the new financial services landscape. The world of finance is changing, and it's changing at a faster pace. It's going through a generational shifts. The rise of unbanked and underbanked users, fintech startups, coupled with the impact which COVID-19 brought in. Finance is changing fast. It's changing, it is bringing new opportunity, but it is exciting and complex at the same time. Today, around 75 million millennials are entering middle age, which means all of these millennials would need different form of financial services. It could be in form of home loan or education loan for their child. All of these millennials are now a pivotal to demographics in the financial services. Just to give some number, around 68 trillion in wealth will be transferred from baby boomers to this new cohort. While it brings a lot of opportunities, it also brings some challenges. These millennials are demanding. They don't want to use just banks. They want to use new fintech apps. In fact, we saw 20 million customers moving to neobank and challengers bank. And some of these users, as in the fintech companies, they saw a growth of 150%. Some numbers on that. Last year in 2020, there is a report which shows that around 4.6 billion times these fintech apps were downloaded, and then use on mobile devices outperformed the use of banks more than 10 times. Let's talk about some unbanked and underbanked customers. More and more unbanked and underbanked customers are coming online. In the US alone, around 63 million adults are underbanked. Overall, globally, we see 1 billion plus underbanked users. The good news is, out of these huge number, 60% of the users, they know about mobile. They have an access to the device, which actually suggests that the technology can play a crucial role in defining their financial services demands and needs. The new financial services landscape is changing. Today, whether you're looking to find a new customer or you want to retain an existing one, rich, tailored, frictional experience is table state. Whether you're reaching out to unbanked or underbanked users, every step of journey should be optimized on mobile devices and it needs to be secure at the same time. And of course, whether you're a startup, neobank challenger, or you are a global enterprise, the operational efficiency and measurable ROI never been more important. So here it is. The entire financial services landscape demands a strategy that balances multiple objectives while it needs to remain manageable and cost effective. In fact, recently, Google commissioned BCG to do a study to understand location intelligence and its impact. The study was done for 520 executives around 5 different industries and for 4 regions. One of the 5 industries was finance. And what we figured it out that other than multiple other findings, the one thing which stood apart was that how leaders are defining their location strategy. The leaders in financial world, those who were using location as the center of their business, They were seeing huge growth. They were seeing fewer support calls, higher revenue, and a better customer retention. So, in the world of location intelligence, the difference between leading and following matters. And we need to decide where do we fall. So let's hear more from Snowdrop and understand how they could help in designing your location strategy and how you could provide location intelligence to your users. Over to you, Snowdrop. Thank you.
Jolie, thank you for that overview. It was really interesting. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we use some of that amazing data that Google Maps provides, the most up-to-date data across many places in many countries, many languages, and how we take that information and we really leverage it at Snowdrop to get the most accurate results. And why that really matters. Because if you're able to give 95% accuracy, that sort of level, then people really do trust your service. As you see from the slides here, when you have highly accurate services, in part based on the Google Maps and the updates and the instant updates that Google's constantly giving on their data sets. Here at Snowdrop, we're able to build unique business rules and leverage some of the Google Cloud technologies like machine learning and great cloud scalability technologies to really constantly improve the accuracy. We also use some of our unique capabilities like crowdsourcing. So if someone says, hey, that's not the right logo, or it's not shop A that I went to, it's actually shop B of the same brand, we take in that feedback and immediately, constantly improve the accuracy of our services. Again, why does accuracy matter? It improves net promoter scores. It improves people's mindsets and their trust in the brands, the banking brands that you're developing. Once you've also earned that trust, there's a lot more you can do with the additional Google data, right? You can obviously see stuff on a map through what we're doing here, but you can also see on a map where people spend their money on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. You could look at your trip last week or last month, and you can see all the points you've been to. So there's a lot more you can do by combining location knowledge to help people better understand where they spend their money so they can better invest or save their money. So with that note, I'm gonna hand over to Bram from Hugo. We'll go through a really great example of what these guys are up to for a new service to help people really get the most out of their money in Southeast Asia. Bram, over to you.
Hi, my name is Bram Degeli and I'm a co-founder and the Chief Product Officer at Hugo, a digital account that helps you spend, save and invest. At Hugo, we believe everybody deserves the right to a healthy financial future. And that's why we take our Hugo heroes, our users, on an integrated financial journey to help them spend, save and invest more effectively. It's so important we take these three pillars of spend, save and invest in context together, as collectively they form the holy trinity of all our financial activity. A significant proportion of people have very limited experience in saving and investing and ultimately end up starting later in life than they could have, or sometimes not even at all. And there are plenty of reasons why. I don't know where to start. There's too much choice. I don't even know what to invest in. Will I be able to access my money if I really need it? It's just all a bit confusing and scary. Many people can relate to this, myself included, and these are just some of the reasons we hear all too often. It's these individuals who we are really looking to support. The power of compound returns and the time in life when someone starts that journey has an enormous impact on one's financial well-being, and there is simply not enough education in schools or awareness at an early age of just how important this simple mathematical fact is. Einstein famously quoted compounding as being the eighth wonder of the world. It's that powerful. The first 10 years of an investment journey can contribute to as much as 40% of your final portfolio value. This means if you started 10 years earlier, you could end up 40% wealthier. Think about that for a second. And the clock is ticking. We provide our Hugo heroes not only with the tools, but also with the confidence to get started sooner. Financial inclusion is not simply about providing access. It's about the educational piece and guidance that comes with it. Little, often, early. This is a mantra that we use. Invest a little bit, do it regularly, and start as early in life as possible. Developing these healthy financial habits will hold you in good stead and improve your financial well-being prospects for the future to come. We also go a step further in providing insight and automations to help grow your wealth faster. Smarter spending through reduction, substitution and switching are all mechanisms that can help you spend less in the first place so you have more available to save and invest with, all without sacrificing the things that you love. The user experience is also incredibly important to us and is essential in building that personalized relationship with each and every Hugo hero. Everybody has their own unique journey, and it begins with an appreciation for your existing financial behavior. And this is where Snowdrop helps in providing enriched transaction information so we can more easily identify and categorize your spending behavior. We're on a mission to help our Hugo heroes spend, save, and invest more effectively. Our product strategy is to ensure users understand their entire financial universe, give them the means to create effective savings and a safe place to invest them, and guide them in developing those healthy financial habits that are sustainable and that they can stick to. Ultimately, our vision is to build financially healthy and thriving communities through what we like to call wealth care. So I thank you for listening. I hope you found this interesting, and from all at Hugo, we wish you the very best on your personal wealth care journey.
Terrific, Bram. That was a great presentation. Thanks again. Hope to catch up soon. Just to summarize from our chat today, here at Snowdrop, we work very closely with obviously Google Maps and Google Cloud to really build these great transparent services. Just to leave you with one example. Here in Europe, during COVID, we've had one customer in Southern Europe that launched, as you can imagine, in the midst of a pandemic. But by showing where people spend their money, by showing that transparency, they were able to double their customer base and increase the spend per customers by tenfold during a pandemic. So transparency and accuracy matter. If you want to build a better brand, if you want to help people understand their usage, you have to establish that transparency and trust. So if you have any questions on how we do this, or questions on maybe how we can do this for you, or just general questions or ideas where we can work together, don't hesitate to reach out to us on social media or on LinkedIn. Obviously, Julie and I are available to have any chats afterwards if you have any other questions. And again, Bram, just a special thanks for your contribution today. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great FinTech event, and hope to catch up soon. Bye-bye.